Welcome to the Mystery and History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. Some old photos seem cold and distant when they are in black and white. But when they gain color, something changes. The faces feel more alive, the details appear, and those figures from old circuses and sideshows stop looking like simple curiosities from the past. In this video, you will see the before and after of colorized portraits of real people who mark the history of entertainment, some connected to the imagination behind famous characters such as Shrek, Chewbacca, and Pepper from American Horror Story. And the more the colors reveal, the more these stories show a surprising side of fame, exploitation, talent, and survival that many people never knew. Joe Lorello, born in Germany in 1886, stood out for the extraordinary flexibility of his neck, which allowed him to turn his head 180 degrees so that his face pointed completely backward while his body remained facing forward. This singular feat made him one of the most famous sideshow artists, a popular circus attraction built around unusual talents. After immigrating to the United States, Lorello joined the legendary Barnum Bailey Circus in 1921, where he captivated audiences with his unmatched ability and surprising calm while walking in that position. In 1940, his act was immortalized by Life magazine, showing the notoriety he had gained over decades of performances. His death in 1955 after a heart complication marked the end of an era, since no other performer managed to reproduce his act, making his legacy a unique chapter in 20th century popular entertainment. Bill Dirks became known as the Three-Eyed Man because of his singular appearance and his ability to turn a physical characteristic into an artistic attraction. From Alabama, United States, he lived in the 20th century, a time when traveling circuses presented people with unusual traits as popular entertainment. His facial cleft divided his nose into two parts, giving the impression of two natural noses, to which he added a carefully painted third eye between them, creating a visual illusion that fascinated audiences. Makeup was an essential part of the act, reinforcing its performative character in what was likely a circus tent setting. In a time marked by stigma around facial differences, Dirks transformed a social barrier into artistic expression, challenging prejudice and attracting curiosity. His story highlights the complex relationship between physical conditions and spectacle culture, showing how individuals sought recognition and survival outside traditional social norms. Arnold Henskes, better known as Mirandajo, gained fame in the 1940s for surprising demonstrations of physical resistance, allowing assistants to pass hollow rapiers through his body without immediate visible effects. Born in Rotterdam in 1912, Dajo invited doctors to supervise the procedures, and X-ray exams confirmed that the instruments passed through internal areas without compromising essential functions. In 1947, in Switzerland, controlled tests reinforced the absence of observable damage, increasing the mystery around his abilities. He attributed his resistance to a divine force, going so far as to swallow a small steel needle in 1948 to prove this supernatural protection, although he later suffered complications that ended his path. Final exams confirmed the needle's route through his body, but the medical community never found a satisfactory explanation for the phenomenon presented by Dajo. Prince Randian, born in 1871 in British Guiana, stood out as a unique figure by overcoming the complete absence of all four limbs, living with only his torso and head. He developed surprising skills, using his lips to roll cigarettes, light them with matches also held in his mouth, write legibly, and paint small canvases, challenging the physical limits imposed by his condition. For more than 30 years, he performed with the prestigious Barnum Bailey Circus, winning audiences with his skill and personality. In 1932, he gained notoriety by appearing in Todd Browning's film Freaks, where his cigarette rolling scene became iconic and unforgettable in cinema. Prince Randian died in 1934, leaving a powerful mark by showing that adaptation and willpower can overcome extreme physical barriers. Jean Libera, born in Rome in 1884, became known for carrying a parasitic twin whom he called Jacques. This rare condition involved a second partially developed body attached to his abdomen, with a head, torso, 2 arms, and partial lower limbs that moved in a limited way. Jacques weighed about 29 pounds in adulthood and even had his own cardiac activity, confirmed by exams at the time. For decades, Jean used this characteristic to perform in circuses in Europe and America, hiding the twin under loose shirts until revealing his presence to spectators. This exhibition drew fascination and scientific study in the early 20th century, when physical differences were explored in traveling shows. Jean's death in 1934 marked the end of their shared life, closing this surprising story of bodily symbiosis and endurance. Joseph Carey Merrick, known worldwide as the Elephant Man, drew the attention of Victorian society because of the severe physical changes that appeared in his body from adolescence, possibly caused by the rare Proteus syndrome. Born on August 5, 1862, in Leicester, England, Merrick developed a skull with a circumference of about 35 inches and a disproportionately enlarged right arm, covered by dense formations that made movement difficult, although he stood only about 5 feet 2 inches tall. After years of exposure in curiosity shows across Great Britain and Europe, he was received at the London Hospital in 1886, where he received more dignified medical care and could live in a more human way. His death in April 1890 at age 27 ended a life marked by social judgment and hardship, but his preserved remains stayed at the hospital as one of the most studied medical cases of the period, showing the advance of knowledge about rare conditions and the importance of respect for human dignity. Josephine Myrtle Corbin, born in 1868 in Tennessee, United States, became known as the four-legged woman because of a rare condition called pelvic duplication, in which she had duplicated pelvic structures and 4 legs, with the 2 central legs functionally normal and the outer legs smaller. This condition drew great medical and social curiosity in the late 19th century, a period when science was trying to understand extraordinary occurrences. Josephine worked in fairs and circuses, displaying her uniqueness to the public, which brought both admiration and prejudice. Her case was documented in several medical studies because it challenged understandings of human anatomy. Despite physical limitations and social stigma, she lived a relatively long life, married, and had children. Her story reflects the era's interest and sensitivity toward human differences at a time of scientific advances and few opportunities for those seen as outside the norm. Daisy and Violet Hilton, conjoined twins joined at the hip, were born on February 5, 1908, in Brighton, England, facing a life marked by public exposure from childhood. Given as babies by their mother to her employer Mary Hilton, they were presented in shows as human curiosities, earning thousands of pounds each week, although almost none of the money went to them. In 1931, they won legal emancipation, opening the way to independence and recognition of their rights. The following year, they gained attention as actresses in the film Freaks, a work that exposed their condition in a controversial way but also strengthened their fame. Each weighed about 115 pounds, a detail that challenges common stereotypes about conjoined twins. Living together in Charlotte, in the United States, they were found side by side in January 1969 after health complications, remaining together until the final moment, just as they had in life. George and Willie Muse, albino brothers born in the 1890s in Truvine, Virginia, were separated from their family in childhood by a circus recruiter without the consent of their mother, Harriet. With white hair and skin sensitive to light, they spent nearly 28 years presented as attractions in the Ringling Brothers show under the stage names Echo and Eco, portrayed as fake ambassadors from Mars while being kept unaware of the profits they generated. In 1927, when the circus returned to Roanoke, Harriet recognized them and began an intense legal fight for their freedom and unpaid wages, confronting the racism and unjust structures of the time. This process resulted in a rare victory for sideshow performers, securing the brothers' autonomy and financial compensation. The story of George and Willie reveals abusive practices of human exhibition under the facade of entertainment and shows the strength of a mother determined to protect her children from the lack of dignity of that period. Grady Stiles Jr., born in 1937, was part of an American family dynasty known for displaying ectrodactyly, a rare genetic condition that fuses fingers and toes, giving them an unusual appearance and earning him the nickname Lobster Boy. From a young age, he developed great upper body strength as a result of walking on his hands because of his physical condition. His life, however, was marked by family conflict and personal problems, elements that went beyond even the controversial standards of the traditional shows in which he performed. In 1978, Stiles Jr. was convicted in a serious episode involving his daughter's fiancé on the eve of the wedding, receiving probation, a decision influenced by his physical condition. The tension culminated in 1992 when his wife became involved in a plan that ended his life. Grady's fate reflects the extreme difficulties faced by marginalized people in complex social contexts. Schlitzie, known for appearing in variety shows and films in the United States, marked 20th century popular entertainment culture by spending more than 7 decades in show business. With microcephaly, a condition that causes a smaller skull and distinct facial features, he captivated audiences with his cheerful personality and childlike appearance, often wearing simple clothing such as a muumuu. He began his career young in circuses and sideshows during a time of little inclusion, but his presence generated empathy and curiosity. He appeared in cult films such as Freaks in 1932, which showed the lives of these performers in a human way. Despite social and medical challenges, he remained active into his later years, representing a complex story between public exposure and recognition in an era of prejudice and social transformation. Ella Harper, known as the Camel Girl, was born around 1870 in Tennessee with genu recurvatum, a rare condition that caused her knees to bend backward, making upright walking difficult and unusual. Instead of walking conventionally, she moved quickly on her hands and knees, impressing audiences with her unusual speed and ease. In the 1880s, Harper gained fame performing with the Nickel Plate Circus, run by W.H. Harris, where she was advertised as one of nature's most extraordinary attractions and earned about $200 per week, a considerable amount for the time. Despite her success in show business, she left performing before age 20, and there are no records of her later fate, leaving her story surrounded by mystery. Her life reflects the challenges faced by people with physical differences in the Victorian era, who were often exposed through popular entertainment, stirring fascination and curiosity amid social judgment. Lalu, an individual born around 1874 in Oudh, India, drew attention in the 19th century for carrying an incomplete parasitic twin attached to his chest, with 2 arms, 2 legs, and even bodily functions of its own, capable of acting independently. This rare medical condition stirred great fascination and curiosity in both scientific circles and the general public. During the 1880s and 1890s, Lalu traveled through the United States and Europe, performing as the Hindu with the undeveloped brother, using the strategy of dressing his unusual companion in matching clothing to heighten the visual and spectacular effect of the exhibitions. His real name remained obscure, and after these travels, his path faded from historical records, reflecting an era when people with physical differences were often turned into public attractions, facing social, medical, and personal challenges that many people today do not know. Frances O'Connor stood out in the 20th century as an extraordinary circus artist, known as the foot artist, because of her impressive ability to perform everyday tasks using only her feet, a necessity shaped by her physical condition from birth. Without upper limbs, she developed surprising skills from a very young age, such as writing legible letters, eating with utensils, sewing clothes, and handling objects with great precision, the result of years of rigorous practice. At age 15, she joined the renowned Ringling Brothers Circus, where her act challenged common perceptions of physical limitations, charming audiences with actions considered simple but performed with extraordinary mastery. Frances's career was also carefully managed by her mother, who closely followed her performances. Her show not only entertained audiences, but also strengthened the visibility of people with physical limitations, showing the power of adaptation in the face of challenges. Mary Ann Bevan, originally a nurse in England, faced a major life change after developing acromegaly, a condition that altered her face and body and brought social and economic hardship. Widowed and the mother of young children, she entered a 1920 contest advertised as the ugliest woman in the world as a last resort to support her family, since her appearance prevented her from continuing her traditional career. The notoriety she gained led to an unexpected career in sideshows, especially with the famous Barnum Bailey Circus, where her image stirred curiosity and empathy among Victorian and American audiences. Mary Ann became a symbol of the complex relationship between human hardship and entertainment during a period marked by prejudice and limited medical knowledge. Her life expresses courage and resilience in the face of adversities imposed by both her condition and society. Francesco Lentini was born in 1881 in Rossolini, Sicily, with a rare condition that gave him 3 legs and an additional body structure, the result of a parasitic twin. His third leg, smaller than the other 2, grew from the right side of his hip, a characteristic that made him world famous as the 3-legged man. After immigrating to the United States, Lentini found in the Barnum Bailey and Ringling Brothers circuses a way to turn his uniqueness into a career, charming audiences by kicking soccer balls with his extra leg. Beyond being a performer, he lived a stable family life, married, and had 4 children, a notable achievement given the medical and social challenges of the first half of the 20th century. He died in 1966 in Jackson, Tennessee, leaving a story that went beyond physical curiosity to reveal dignity, resilience, and humanity. His legacy is an example of how differences can be lived with courage and affection. Johnny Eck, known as the Half-Boy, was born on August 27, 1911, in Baltimore with sacral agenesis, a rare condition that left him without a lumbar spine, pelvis, or legs, resulting in a body that ended just below the rib cage. Only 18 inches tall and weighing about 57 pounds as an adult, he amazed people with the exceptional development of his upper body, moving on his hands faster than ordinary walking. He became a prominent figure in sideshows and circuses during the 1930s and 1940s, and also appeared in the classic horror film Freaks in 1932. Beyond being a performer, he stood out as an oil painter, sculptor, and even conductor of small orchestras, showing talent and versatility beyond his physical condition. He lived until 1991, reaching age 79 and outliving most of the colleagues with whom he shared the stage. His life is an example of resilience and creativity amid the adversities imposed by society at the time. Millie and Christine McCoy were born on July 11, 1851, in North Carolina, joined at the lower spine during a time marked by the slave system on American plantations. Sold 3 times while still babies, their path represents a difficult chapter of history, but also one of resilience. After the Civil War, which culminated in the abolition of slavery, The sisters became educated and mastered several languages, while developing a singular musical talent, performing as a vocal duo in perfect harmony, one soprano and the other contralto, while sharing one body. Being conjoined twins made surgical separation impossible, a rare physical and social challenge for that time. Millie and Christine continued their artistic careers, gaining recognition and respect, and died in 1912, only hours apart, being buried together as they had lived, symbolizing a life of talent, unity, and unbreakable strength. Maurice Tillet, known as the French Angel, stood out in the world of wrestling during the 1940s, turning a rare condition into an advantage for his career. Born in 1903 in Russia, Tillet developed acromegaly at age 17, which caused abnormal growth in his skull, jaw, and hands, giving him a singular and striking appearance. Despite the physical difficulties caused by the condition, he won the heavyweight title of the American Wrestling Association, surprising audiences by combining strength and technique in the ring. Beyond his athletic success, Tillet was a cultured and reserved man, fluent in 10 languages and a private poet. The uniqueness of his face directly inspired DreamWorks in shaping the character Shrek, showing his impact beyond sports. His life showed how he faced prejudice and difference, turning his image into a symbol of strength and originality in wrestling entertainment. Crau Farini, born in 1876 in Laos, was a woman marked by unusual physical characteristics such as hypertrichosis, which covered her body with hair, and joint hypermobility, which allowed surprising movements. In the 19th century, her extraordinary body drew the attention of explorers who took her to Europe, where she was exhibited as the supposed missing link of evolution at a time when science and spectacle mixed in the search for explanations for human anomalies. Later, she lived in the United States and became a featured figure in P.T. Barnum's shows, famous for presenting human curiosities and phenomena to popular audiences. Despite the success and fame she gained in these exhibitions, Crau Farini faced social challenges related to her image and the prejudice of the era. She survived the sideshow age, leaving the stage to live her final years with more privacy until her death in 1926, when she came to be recognized simply as a woman beyond the myths and theories that had defined her for so many. Annie Jones, known as the Bearded Baby, gained notoriety as an infant because of a full dark beard caused by female hypertrichosis, a rare condition that made her stand out in 19th century shows. Born on July 14, 1865 in Virginia, she was discovered by the famous showman P.T. Barnum, who placed her in the American Museum when she was only 9 months old. For decades, Jones traveled the world with Barnum's Circus, turning her appearance into a symbol of resistance and dignity. Unlike many performers, she strongly fought against the pejorative use of the word freak, demanding respect and professional recognition for sideshow performers. Her self-awareness and courage in facing prejudice came long before modern discussions of inclusion and human rights. She died in 1902, leaving a story that goes beyond spectacle to affirm the humanity and value of those who challenge social standards. Robert Pershing Wadlow, born on February 22, 1918 in Alton, Illinois, became famous as the tallest man recorded in history, reaching 8 feet 11 inches and weighing 439 pounds. His exceptional height was the result of pituitary gland hyperplasia, which caused continuous growth throughout his life. Wadlow wore custom-made size 75 shoes, and despite facing physical limitations, he worked as a promotional ambassador for an international shoe company, attracting crowds wherever he went. He died young on July 15, 1940, at age 22, after a complication caused by a defective brace. His hometown of Alton keeps his memory alive with a life-size bronze statue, a symbol of the singular impact of his path in the 20th century. Grace McDaniels became known as the Mule-Faced Woman while appearing in traveling circuses in the United States from the 1920s to the 1940s, when people with unusual physical conditions were presented as attractions. Her face had an extensive port wine stain along with unusual tissue growth, the result of a vascular disorder and possibly an intense form of hemangioma, a condition that generated curiosity and, at times, prejudice. Despite her unconventional appearance, Grace was described as a calm and kind person, managing to turn her challenge into a means of support and artistic expression within the circus world. Contrary to the common view of the time, her role went beyond mere visual spectacle, revealing human nuance and resilience in the face of social judgment. Her path highlights the complex relationship between spectacle, physical condition, and humanity in the first half of the 20th century. Chang and Eng Bunker, born on May 11, 1811, in Siam, now Thailand, were the first conjoined twins to gain public notoriety, joined by a band of cartilage about 4 inches long at the sternum. Immigrants to the United States, they faced 19th century curiosity and prejudice while displaying their condition in sideshows and circuses, popularizing the term Siamese twins. Despite physical difficulties and stigma, they became American citizens, lived in North Carolina, married the sisters Adelaide and Sarah Yates, and had 21 children, showing their ability to adapt and build strong family ties. Chang died in January 1874, and Eng 2 hours later. A medical examination revealed that the cartilage could have been safely separated, but this was not done in time. Their story challenges prejudice and highlights future medical advances. Fannie Mills became known in the late 19th century as the woman with the largest feet in the world, which brought her international fame. Born in Sussex, England, she lived with elephantiasis, a condition that caused major enlargement of her feet and required custom-made, eye-catching shoes. This physical characteristic became her calling card in circuses in the United States, where she was presented as an unusual attraction reflecting the era's interest in human curiosities. Despite the difficulties, Fannie maintained serenity and dignity, remaining a respectable figure. Her formal portrait in 19th century clothing shows a woman marked by difference, but still composed. Her story highlights the social and medical challenges faced by people with rare conditions, as well as the fame connected to public exposure and prejudice. Pip and Flip, known as the Yucatan twins, were presented in American sideshows during the 1920s and 1930s, standing out because of microcephaly, which gave them height and weight far below average, each under 4 feet tall and weighing about 44 pounds. Originally from the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, they gained notoriety by appearing in the classic 1932 film Freaks, which portrayed circus performers with unusual physical characteristics and confronted audiences with a more humanized view of people who had previously been treated mainly as spectacle. Beyond the immediate impact, their story inspired characters in television series, continuing the debate about the conditions of people with physical limitations and the ethics of social and media exposure. Their path illustrates the tensions between visibility and dignity in a setting of cultural separation, showing how 20th century society dealt with human diversity. Lucia Zarate, born on January 2, 1864, in San Carlos, Mexico, stands out in history as the lightest recorded adult human being, weighing only 4.6 pounds at age 20 and measuring 20 inches tall. Her unusual condition drew attention in the 19th century when she performed as the Mexican Lilliputian in P.T. Barnum's shows, one of the major circus attractions of the time. Despite her apparent fragility, Lucia surprised audiences with the agility and speed of her movements, challenging the limits imposed by her tiny body. In 1890, during a tour through the western United States, she became trapped in a snowstorm in the Sierra Nevada and did not survive the extreme conditions at age 26. News of her death and the details of her farewell received wide coverage in the North American press, revealing the fascination and admiration her story stirred in a world still unfamiliar with such extreme human variation. Pauline Musters, known as the shortest woman in history, measured only 24 inches tall and weighed about 10 pounds as an adult, a record listed by Guinness World Records. Born on February 26, 1876, in Ossendrecht, Netherlands, her tiny stature did not prevent her from winning over audiences in Europe and the United States with acrobatic and dance performances, showing surprising skill for someone of her size. Under the nickname Princess Pauline, she traveled widely with show companies during the late 19th century, when people with exceptional physical characteristics fascinated the public. Her short life ended on March 1, 1895, in New York from meningitis when she was only 19 years old. Her path remains a singular example of talent and courage in the face of the physical and social adversities of her time. Edouard Beaupré, known as the Giant of Willow Bunch, was a notable figure of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, reaching 8 feet 3 inches tall and 375 pounds, standing out both for his immense height and extraordinary strength while performing with the Ringling Brothers Circus. Born on January 9, 1881, in Willow Bunch, Saskatchewan, the oldest of 17 siblings, Beaupré gained fame by bending iron bars and pulling carriages before astonished audiences, despite his calm and affectionate nature, especially with horses and children. His path was shortened by health complications, and he passed at age 23 during the St. Louis World's Fair in 1904. Afterward, his preserved remains traveled through several exhibitions around the world and were only cremated and returned to his homeland in 1990, reflecting the singular story of a man who charmed audiences and marked the popular culture of his era. Fedor Jefticiu, born in 1868 in St. Petersburg, gained notoriety in the 19th and early 20th centuries as Jojo the Dog-Faced Boy because of hypertrichosis, a condition that covered his face and body with dense, silky hair. Despite P.T. Barnum's promotion, which portrayed him as a wild creature from the Russian forests, Fedor spoke fluent Russian and was well known backstage for his intelligence and sense of humor. For 2 decades, he toured the United States, performing in traveling shows that fascinated audiences, becoming one of the most emblematic figures of the sideshow. His image also went beyond the circus, influencing popular culture by directly inspiring the design of Chewbacca from Star Wars, showing his striking presence in both entertainment history and the collective imagination. Cuckoo, known as the Bird Girl, became prominent in variety shows of the 1920s and 1930s with a unique performance that mixed dance and theatricality, embodying a bird through her posture and costumes with synthetic feathers. This type of circus art reflected the search for exotic and innovative entertainment at a time when artists with unusual skills or appearances strongly fascinated the public. Cuckoo's figure symbolizes a period when popular spectacle explored the combination of fantasy and multiple bodily expressions to captivate audiences, often challenging conventional standards and social reality. Her stage presence went beyond simple entertainment, opening space for new forms of performance connected to art and modern spectacle. The uniqueness of her character remains an example of the complex universe of 20th century popular entertainment. Alice Doherty, known as the Werewolf Girl, drew attention in the late 19th century because of the rare condition called hypertrichosis, which causes abnormal hair growth on the body. From the United States, Alice showed this characteristic from childhood, becoming a figure in popular curiosity shows, especially sideshows in Minneapolis. The black and white photograph from the period reveals her appearance, with light hair covering her face and arms, while she maintains a serious expression and elegant posture, reflecting the social impact of living in an era when physical differences were seen as attractions. This condition, still poorly understood, placed Alice in a position of both fascination and isolation, showing the ambiguous treatment given to people with visibly unusual traits. Her story helps explain the difficulties faced by marginalized people and the exposure of the body in entertainment and scientific contexts in the 19th century. Anna Haining Swan stood out in the 19th century as one of the tallest women ever recorded, standing 7 feet 11 inches tall and weighing about 412 pounds. Born on August 6, 1846, in Nova Scotia, Canada, her extraordinary growth drew attention from an early age, leading her to appear in popular shows. Hired by P.T. Barnum, the famous circus entrepreneur, Anna traveled through North America and Europe, winning public admiration. In 1871, she married Martin Van Buren Bates, an equally tall man, forming the tallest documented couple, which attracted great media interest. They had 2 children who were born at record weights, but did not survive long after birth, showing the medical challenges they faced. Anna died after a heart complication on August 5, 1888, leaving a legacy that reveals both popular curiosity and the difficulties lived by people with such singular characteristics at the time. Isaac Sprague stood out in the 19th century as an unusual figure because of an extreme low weight condition that puzzled doctors and the public. Born in Massachusetts in 1841, he had an ordinary childhood until age 12, when he began losing weight inexplicably and progressively, eventually weighing less than 44 pounds at age 46, when his life came to an end. At 5 feet 6 inches tall, his skin stretched tightly over his body structure, stirred fascination and shock. Sprague toured the United States as an attraction with the Barnum Bailey Circus, known as the Living Skeleton, drawing curious crowds to witness a rare physical condition. Despite this public attention, science at the time never managed to define his medical condition, which remains a historical mystery. His experience reveals the limits of medical knowledge and the complex relationship between health, spectacle, and survival in the 19th century. Eli Bowen was born with phocomelia, a rare condition that caused the almost complete absence of his lower limbs, leaving him with 2 small feet attached to his hips. Despite physical challenges, he developed exceptional upper body strength, which led him to pursue a career as an acrobat in sideshows during adolescence. He performed in P.T. Barnum's circus, presenting surprising acts such as walking only on his hands. One memorable moment was his partnership with Charles Tripp, another performer with an unusual physical condition, forming a duo in which Tripp pedaled, while Bowen steered the bicycle with his hands, delighting 19th century audiences. His participation in shows overcame the prejudices of the time, turning a rare condition into artistic expression that challenged traditional ideas of normality and personal strength. Eli Bowen stands out not only for his physical ability, but for turning his life into a performance of resilience and talent. Horace Ridler, known as the Great Omi, stood out in 20th century sideshows because of an impressive body transformation that made him a unique figure in entertainment. Born in the early 20th century, Ridler covered his body with black and white striped tattoos, creating a look that resembled a zebra pattern and brought him international fame. This choice happened during a period when tattoos were rarely accepted, especially to such an extreme degree, showing his courage to challenge strict social norms. He toured Great Britain, the United States, and Australia, attracting crowds fascinated by his appearance and charisma. Beyond the tattoos, he used accessories to complete his artistic persona, maintaining his uniqueness in performances. His legacy goes beyond exhibition, showing how body art can be expression and identity in conservative times. Ridler died in the 1960s, but he remains a reference in the world of artists who use the body as the stage for their stories. Aloysia Wagner stood out in the early 20th century as a unique figure in the entertainment circuit known as sideshows, which brought together artists with unusual physical characteristics. Born in Germany without upper or lower limbs, Wagner impressed audiences by performing seemingly impossible tasks, such as combing her hair, sewing, and dressing herself using her mouth, as well as singing before large crowds. With her torso ending at the shoulders and hips, she challenged the physical limits imposed by her condition and won admiration while traveling internationally, especially in New York, where she shone under her stage name Violetta, the beautiful Venus. Her path reveals the complex relationship between spectacle and the valuing of difference in society at the time, opening space for debates about dignity and visibility. Her ability to reinvent herself and stand out as an artist went beyond mere entertainment. Gabrielle Fuller, known as Mademoiselle Gabrielle, stood out in the early 20th century by challenging the limits imposed by her physical condition as she lived without lower limbs below the hips. In an era marked by rigid social standards and little accessibility, she gained space by showing her skill on an adapted bicycle, moved only with her arms, wearing formal clothing that contrasted with common images of limitation. This achievement happened in a context where sideshows and circuses exposed human difference, but Gabrielle transformed that visibility into an expression of autonomy and resistance. Wearing a long skirt and long-sleeved blouse, her serious posture before the camera reinforced dignity before a society with little inclusion. Her performance challenged prejudice and expanded perceptions of the abilities of people with physical limitations, representing an important break from early 20th century social paradigms. Jeannie Tomaini, born in 1916, and Al Tomaini, born in 1918, formed a memorable couple in the history of North American sideshow performances. Jeannie lived without lower limbs, with her body ending below the hips, while Al stood 7 feet 11 inches tall because of unusual growth. They met at a carnival in the late 1930s and found in love, a strong connection despite the great physical differences that made them a fascinating duo. For years, they performed together, charming crowds with their tenderness and courage. Later, they retired in Gibsonton, Florida, where they opened a fishing camp and bait shop, living simply and serving the community. Al died in 1962, and Jeannie kept his memory alive until her own death in 1999, representing a chapter of resilience and love in a world marked by difference and public admiration. If you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, please use the Super Thanks tool below. Your contribution helps us keep bringing you amazing historical content. Thank you so much for your support, and see you in the next video.